Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Dig is a game that joins a fairly crowded genre, which is pressure luck games. Dig attempts to set itself aside and be unique with the 8-bit artwork and a dungeon crawl vibe. I think it accomplishes on both of those sets. You are going through a dungeon and you will be exploring it in a pressure luck mechanism included in that. The 8-bit artwork, I feel like doesn't work great in this. Sometimes it's blown up. It doesn't look as good. And I'm not somebody that's against 8-bit artwork. In fact, I like it. But here I think it holds the game back a little bit and keeps it from fulfilling the promise that it should on the art side of things. As for the game itself, it is very simple, although the rulebook I found to be very difficult to understand. Maybe it's just the way my mind works. I had to go to a couple of videos to kind of, okay, this is exactly what we're doing. Okay, I got it. I don't know. I don't know if it wasn't wordy enough, there wasn't enough examples in there, but it just kind of didn't work for me. The game itself is easy enough to teach. You do have different items and things that will be popping up and monsters, etc. that will come through this dungeon. I like pressure luck games. I have some very good ones in my collections. Diamant would be one of them. Quacks of Quellenberg would be another one. But I feel like this one was lacking a little bit. I don't know what it was about the dungeon crawl. I don't, you don't really expect a pressure luck. I don't know if that was it, expectations, or the artwork holding it back a little bit. The game itself felt way too luck based. And you're gonna say, well, yeah, it's a pressure luck game, but I want a little bit more control than I would have in this game. I felt like, you're going for that bust and trying to have that big move, and somebody who had that big move might get ahead, and I don't know that you had a way to catch up to it. I didn't find the game to be terribly innovative or interesting in any aspect. Been here, done that, and maybe that's why. If this was your first one, you never played a pressure luck game, maybe it'd have a more impactful statement upon your gaming experience. But for me, it just felt like other games that I've played in the genre, and that theme and the artwork wasn't enough to keep pulling me back. So for us, this one felt like a rather pointless game. It's going to be a purge for us. Here is Dig, which you can see is not to be confused with another game named Dig, but this is from Mangrove Games. It has an 8-bit motif to it. You're going to get some advertisements when you... So the companions, the insert's pretty nice actually. You have a little set here for your stuff. You're going to have your cards. These will be the 8-bit characters. Now, while I do like the 8-bit artwork, I do feel like they're a little too big. Like, it ends up not looking right for some reason. You have a bunch of different companions in here. Then you have your little characters and stuff. But once again, it looks better far away. If you get up close where they're really big, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. The cards are good. They have a nice finish on them. I like them pretty much. You're going to get these purple gems. These are really great in games. You're going to get a bunch of these workers that kind of look like digging people in different colors. I think they're fantastic. Components elevate this game quite a bit. Get into it, and you're going to have a rule book. Now, the rule book's going to come in multiple languages, so you kind of have to find yours, and I hate this in rule books. It makes them too thick. It's hard to reference easier. But you're going to have a little introduction, the goal of the game, and how to set it up with a nice small picture. I don't know why it's so small. And then game turn. And the game has these weird pictures, but it lacks anything that's useful to you. It's also black with white. I don't know. This rulebook, I just found it so hard. It tries so hard to make it easy, but for some reason I stumbled over this game and how to understand it and how to play it very well. And it could have been just a me thing. I mean, everything is here. You got some tips, some lexicon on the back, I suppose. How to get these through, and the companion. So it's all here. I just found this game it's hard to understand what you're doing. I think it's because it's so simple and there's not a whole lot to it that you constantly think there's more to it. You're going to get these player aids with it. There'll be 2 of them here. They're the same, but they'll kind of go over the turn and tell you what all the cards kind of do in the game. You'll be referencing this a lot. You'll be passing it around if you're playing with more than 2 people, and you'll be looking at this quite a bit until you can understand and remember what all of these different cards do. So you're going to start with the companions up here in the deck over here. Everybody's going to start with one of these, and the rest will be in the supply. What's going to happen on your turn, you can dig outside because there's no one else for you to go, so you can do that. So what you can do on a future turn, the next person would go. You can dig inside or outside. So outside means you just start another column, and there always has to be a person on it. If you want to dig inside, that's fine, but you have to add a card to each row that you have and hope that you don't bust. When something comes out, like say this collapse happened,
then everything would bust and it would go away. There's some enemies that pop out. I'm not going to go too details in this, but there's a bunch of different stuff that can happen. Now, once you get 5 of these in a row, you can add these to your hand. So say if you had something like this, say this is all one row, you can put them up and now they're in your hand, and you can spin these up here to buy these. They'll kind of tell you need a diamond and 2 gold, and these will help you prevent things in the future or help you as you go through. This one will fight against ghosts for you, etc. As long as you have these gems, which you pick up for getting 5 of these in a row. First one to 5 gems or 10 in a longer game is the winner of the game. So not very hard. You just want to make sure you're flipping over a card, and then when something comes out, it may affect it, and you'll just reference the sheet on what they do. So a ghost will remove the latest card from your gallery. The thief will steal the last 2 cards. The skeleton scares all the recruits away. The shield will counter the attack of any enemy that might come out. Adds a secret room. The hill hides 5 runes. The runes to your gallery add to your treasure when closing the gallery. A whole bunch of little things that can happen as you're going through. But for the main part, you're flipping over a card and hoping you do not bust. That's going to be, in this case, there's a collapse. These would all bounce. I bust. Get out of here. That's a quick overview of how you play Dig. There's not a whole lot more to it. That's pretty much it.
Who should buy this game? If you're a fan of dungeon crawlers and you haven't played a lot of Pressure Luck games and you kind of want to mesh those 2 things, this would be a very good choice for you. This is very introductory. It's a very simple game. You can play with it nearly with anybody, but I think the theme is going to keep it into gamers. I don't think it's going to have like a mass market feel because of that dungeon crawl theme, which is really the twist of the game. So it is what it is. It's a double-edged sword, if you will. For us, this one will be a Purge.